Bible by King James. Do you think King James was really one of the people? White and black. Now when that Michael Jackson song might apply quite happily here. What a crazy scene. That's all I can say. I don't know what your thoughts are. Keep it nice and diplomatic and tell me what you think.
There's a lot of things we don't fucking know. We don't know. Okay? But we do know that. That's one thing out of the multitude of unknowns. So if we know that and go on with that,
Beyond comprehension, Sir John, the surgeon. Sir John, now on my channel for a long time, I talked about John, the idea of John and Harry and David, a bit of a trilogy there. And we have the horses, and I've often talked about the horses, the mares, the king couple. Anyone who's watched a lot of my work would know about horses.
But your job damn near led me to get into a fucking a whole lot of surgery, bro, because you was overwhelmed and we was going back and forth, bro. But that came from your job, bro. You used that as one of the reasons why you was overwhelmed. And we end up getting into that altercation. So
yeah, well, for 60 quid you could buy your own baby Sussex, your baby Darren.
Because motherfuckers downplayed you in your job.
Here it is, the sale.
So yes, your job does affect me, sweetie.
As a prop,
Sorry.
because whatever's happening with any baby Sussex will ever be one. We'll just be using doppelgangers full time. It's an interesting idea certainly coming across here from Markle and Prince Harry.
How your shit has changed my life. How my shit is affecting you.
Yes, here's your baby Darren, the little baby.
My lifestyle has
60
nothing to
quid.
do with the baby, bro. That
And away you go.
Nothing to do with my lifestyle. Thank you very much.
Have your own.
Thank you very much.
Just look,
What you talking about, bro?
nothing unusual here to me. People freak out. Oh, no, but oh, well, as we know,
even if I had a job that didn't
mostly the usual.
worry about getting arrested for it.
If it was any different to this, then we would be what? They didn't do something like this. And they're talking about the Markle nose.
So you sit there and you talking like you don't know, but you know.
See, they're very wide eyes.
You know a 9 to 5 job is
Indeed.
going to be able to take care of you.
Very wide eyes indeed.
Bro. What I make, yes, you can have fucking. Bro. Trust me.
Riverdale reminds me of River Dance. I was just looking up Michael Flatley. I'm going to do a video on him. Archie, of course. I'll do something on the old Archie's band.
There's a lot of shit that back. Ain't even money, bro.
His mood is in
You know what I'm saying? What do you mean it ain't even money, bro? That's everything. It is money. Because I'm not gonna settle. I'm not gonna settle for a quarter or half of the salary that you make on top of your salary just so that we can sustain a child. No, I have bigger goals than this. That's what I'm saying.
So his number is 6.
One thing I want,
The Aphrodite that goes with that is a 6-pointed star. That's a 6. And this is
It's a lot of things that I want that I can't have.
Let me repeat that again.
Not the only one.
May the 6th. It's a 6 number.
There seems to be a lot of interesting videos already popped up about this, so I'm going to view a few of them and get back with a general statement on what I think about the whole idea of this baby Archie. Yes, I'm having a bit of trouble trying to find this Sir John as far as anything on a Google search. This one here is an Australian horse from a number of years ago. So if anyone knows anything about this horse, Sir John, get back in the comments and I'll look at it in a further video. Sleeping Darren, Sleeping Damien, 175. I talked about this before, the 175. Go back to September, back in 2001, you'll see that number. Yes, and the Pregnant Baby Doll by Darren Cullen.
Well, she's not going to have a relationship, bro.
Cole the Gull, you should know that one.
And I'm not talking about just me.
Let's talk about the hair, the hairy face. And baby Darren Doll happens to have the same idea happening.
The other party that's in that
No prize there at all, is there?
gave it they all, bro. They gave it they all, bro.
Maybe
Bro, no, you're not, bro. Because you're not willing to compromise, bro. Bro, you ain't, bro. But it's the same thing, bro. It's the same thing, bro. It's the same thing.
And of course the caddy has a connection with the idea of tea.
That's what it was. But she was spending money.
And she made a great life for herself. Good for her.
I've had the fairy tale now with the baby.
She's got a fairy tale out of it. Good for her. I mean, Jesus.
And often a little bit of truth, everything she's not supposed to be.
Jesus. She's, what? She's everything you're not supposed to be.
But you don't necessarily.
Well, I don't know about you, but there's definitely something different about the Marvel here.
I'm asking. Because it's the same thing. It's like you're telling me, oh my God.
The process of babies changed so much over 2 years. I'm basically monitoring.
The monitor, and 7 days in a week.
But I'm saying, though, shit, bro.
Yes, that might be something we might get used to with this one somehow. And the changes idea is going to be fully pushed in this idea. It seems to be a change in the Megan. Yes, the baby is very calm. Yes, calm and the old doopy. Well, a lot of fundamentalists are going on with that 666 as I've just showed you here, and just hear what they say here.
It has also been revealed that contrary to original beliefs, Archie will not be given a role title, with the parents opting simply for Master.
The Master. The Master, baby Darren. So yeah, finally, yes, we have the surge on here. I'd like to know what the name is here, so if anyone's seen any pictures of this that are clearer, certainly it's too blurry to see from any of this. Be interested to know what the other one is at Elton's son. Somebody's targeted in on the surge on here. Aha, here it was, at Windsor. And the other horse is called George, they're saying. George and Harrison, as we've picked already in my previous video. Yes, George and Sir John. Yes, when Elton remembers George. Cloud 9, of course. Elton on piano, especially that song long time ago when we were fab.
What the fuck do you mean? I did. We're talking about now. You want to go and run through the past. Let's stay in the present. Because you said that you were going to get a job.
Yes, and they walked out in the red carpet. Here, the red carpet revealed the celebrity baby bumps. Little things that you just didn't notice in the picture where you saw it before. This.
Bro, I can help out with the $310 electric bill right the fuck now. Why you gotta have money? But you can easily put it in your bank account.
Yes, George with the Harrison
Don't talk shit about it.
getting around quite a bit as well with this Clooney story.
Okay,
Yes, I certainly will be looking a bit more at this and get back with one more video. And I knew it had big links to Scotland, and here it right is. The Lord of Douglas, something we've talked about a lot, of course. Today, Douglas Hamilton idea, of course. Look at the name here, Archibald de Grimm. Well, Dr. Grimm, Dr. Grief, or whatever ideas, George Harrison, of course, Crackerbox, Palace. Yeah, two of our favourites, big fans of the Archibald. This gives us a nice little George and Paul connection there, doesn't it? And this is quite an interesting idea here, isn't it now? The Moors and then this business.
So have you checked your email? Yes, I did, and I got an interview with
Ideas of wars against the Black Prince.
I did text him back. Okay.
And Lord of the Gals. And just finally, we all know this Halliburton name. You see how way back it goes, actually. Talk about Knights of Dale.
How did I contradict myself? Blending literally means you're taking portions of yourself and you're putting it together. No, you're not taking portions of yourself. You're taking. It's two factors. There's one factor and another factor. Those factors are coming together. They're not taking parts of their life. No, they're just coming together to make one whole world. That's the picture. Bro, what do you mean there's no growing, bro? I'm working on a whole business plan. When you talk about there's no growing, I'm growing in my direction the way I'm gonna grow. I'm not gonna grow in no corporate direction, work underneath a motherfucker who I can't even talk to, whose face I don't even know. Or working at a store location that it's not even owned by, but it's owned by a third party. It's like, it's just a motherfucker that owns the store. I want to be a motherfucker that owns the store. And until I'm in that position, I'm going to do what I need to put me in that position. Like, it's just great. And you should be the same way. Okay, I am. No, you're not. You're necessary or two different. We grew up different. In two totally different areas. Okay, so what? So you're trying to respect where you come from, but you don't respect her. How do I not, bro? You're trying to give me the respect where you're coming from on my life. On my life. I don't point the finger on at your life, bro. I don't point the finger at your life, bro. I made suggestions and you took them whether or not you did on your time. And I didn't push you. We didn't get into no arguments. We didn't get into no fights over you making the decision that you made, bro. Anytime I make a decision, bro, like put my car, bro.
Never tell you about the seven. Then he introduces
you can make any choice
the
you
big
make.
eyed girl.
Behind what choice you make.
Nothing so funny about a big eyed girl. Makes me feel so funny. Makes me lose my money. It's wiggle in the wall.
We got
Not wiggle in the wall.
You got the whole attitude.
So here's these two. And we're going on about recent events, of course. They're giving us the spiel. Of Paul Watson's spiel. See his eyes here at one stage, the way he looks up.
No, it's not because. There's no because.
Definitely part of the T-Yang.
What choices was I making, bro?
You said you wanted to wait, so I had to come out another fucking $400 plus an extra fucking money to pay for bills that I didn't have money to pay. Because I'm over here taking care of everything. Things that you were supposed to take care of that you couldn't take care of because of the accident.
Oh.
At the end of the day, why do I have to wait a whole other month and wait on somebody who's saying, oh, well, I'll pay the bills? No, the fuck you won't. No, you won't. Yeah.
Oh, the old hostages. They're in the cages, look. They're in the cage.
I went online to look up my car when it was going for. I see my car online without the rims for $24,000.
How was your car more than you paid for?
Okay. So it's my car. So I like that. Drive my car. I was just driving my car. I was driving my car crazy. I was driving my car. Only 3, maybe 4 or 5 days after a week. I wasn't driving my car 7 days out of 7 days out. So my car only had work. I was seeing the same year, same model car with more miles.
To launch this attack, what was the situation on the ground?
More money than I got on my car.
No, it wasn't.
I'm not holding that against you.
You're right, and now insurgents that controlled Bhutan, which were Al-Qaeda linked by the way, and US agreed Al-Qaeda was controlling the city.
Now, if I had the extra grid, I would have been able to help.
Had already been So the actually was
appreciate the
like
help,
army
right?
or Egypt Islam. And the reason they didn't surrender
Ain't no I guess, nigga, correct or not? Okay.
Leverage.
had kidnapped from nearby pro-Assad towns.
That's my
And these are the wives, children of basically Syrian soldiers. And these civilians, they took them and they put them in cages in about 2015, and they paraded them
And
around
that's
Islam.
all I was talking about.
Said that,
These are the moderates. These are the moderates that put people in cages and parade them around. In fact, I've seen the video footage of that.
But the
Parading
past
them around in
servant
cages.
will be what I'm
The
doing.
video which you played, which shows
In the cages, but this is the one. Right
That's
here.
not right.
they have a 7 warships strike with cruise
And if
missiles
you
over
was
the
dying,
Mediterranean.
it's beating you up that
Now,
bad,
into Syria
bro.
right now, the US Navy destroyed USS Donald Cook. It's already intervention as of yesterday this week with 60 Tomahawk cruise missiles. They also have, they said, like US missiles
Even
destroyed
entertainment. Listen, let me finish. Let me finish. Let me finish. Why are you even
That's all you really need to see. You see why how important the 7 is? Anyway, sorry I'm in this primitive mode of making videos before people say, oh gee, that's such a primitive thing to do today. I still haven't bothered to go back where I bought the computer. I want to ring their necks, so I'm waiting to calm down. So I'll just do videos like this for a minute. Somebody said download Firefox or this or that. I wish you were there to help me, mate. I'm so sick of computers and all the hassle with them, you know. They should be just plug and play and all easy, but of course then they'd make no money, would they? It's like cars. It could have been made so they didn't break easy.
I'm not riding around with fucking baggies. I wanted it to appear. What the vanilla? Okay. Okay. 2 pints in the car. Pure vanilla. So,
Now here's your sun, okay? And here is your earth. Let me just stand a bit away so you can see what we've got here. Right? Now there's your globe. There's your globe. Now let's just see what happens when the sun sets on the globe. So there's the sun, right? Now here's your globe. We're just going to lift it up. That's going to do for the demonstration. Right? No, it doesn't get any smaller as you can see. And look what happens. When the sun sets, look how clearly you can see brightness right above you there for ages. And see when it's going to set, look how bright it's still going to be for a long, long time. Before you really, spinning up around, but you're really blocking it like that. You see that? That is a problem. That is a big problem in my head. Look, it still shines up above you, you see? That's how it would be if it was 93 million miles away. Don't try and tell me any different. I just can't see that it could be. We can try, but I mean, ridiculous, eh? And then it'd be black. But when we see the sun, refer to my video I just did, and you'll see once it goes, yes, there's a little bit of twilight, but within minutes, everything goes dead black. Twilight would last for hours. It's as simple as that. Now I thought it was time we look at this again. This is a picture I took just on dusk, as it were, flying towards Brisbane, so flying in the direct easterly direction, and I'm actually flying into the dark. The sun is setting to the west behind. Now, you'd notice in that picture, how evident this one there, that's the heat right, another sun. Look at that strange part of the dark there. Look at the wing. Most of the dark is parallel to it, except where you get to this point here, where the dark is cutting back, as you can see, sort of nearly 90 degrees. So when you look out at the plane enough work, I haven't got the wide enough shot here, but they're taken away. But it was sort of dark to the left more than there was straight in the ground ahead of us. It was a very unusual look. That's why I took the photo. And you can see that sort of line of dark going, just looking at the centre where the reflection, it must be a reflection of the sun, surely, very strange. See that rip of dark going backwards there and down?
Again, bro, you was hitting on the peanut butter part.
Yes, to me this is evidence the atmosphere itself blocks light once it's a certain distance. So it looks like to me it just doesn't seem to be what it would look like as I've just shown you with the globe idea of the sun 93 million miles away. So a very strange image indeed. The window isn't having much effect at all on this image. I can see what you're looking at with my eyes, and I captured it with the camera because I was so blown away at the weird look. No one else in the plane seemed to be bothering. They were reading their papers, having their cups of tea, maybe just looking out the window and marvelling at the view. But I was really amazed at what I was seeing. I tried to say to them, what's that? What's weird? So I don't know what you make of it. Your comments will be welcome, and it just shows you what we think of this world and what is two different things.
Then, because it comes from the Latin word stanum, which means tin. And in fact, if you go to Devon in the southwest of England, you'll find that some of the towns there are called stannery towns because that's where they used to mine and trade in tin.
Alex Desert is stone. Austin, otherwise Januar as young stone. Once upon a time. We're going to meet at Stanton House. Bloodline. Did have this Stanton corporate temple. We've got Stanton Skate Park. It's like it's made of tin jelly, isn't it? Stanton Skate Park. And selenium, number 52 on the periodic table.
If you ingest tellurium into the body, it can get into your sweat and make you smell enough to really drive people mad. And these crystals like this one can be cut up and mounted into a piece of apparatus like this.
So chemist White didn't know the elements on the periodic table in his career novel? No. Very few chemists will deal with more than perhaps a handful of different elements. So
Yes, and tellurium is transformation.
Shining an infrared laser that's like a heat ray at one frequency, and it came out as twice the frequency, so you can use it to change the effect of the lasers. Unfortunately, it was twice the frequency, so you can use it to change the effect of the lasers. Unfortunately,
So chemist White didn't know the elements on the periodic table in his career novel? No. Very few chemists will deal with more than perhaps a handful of different elements.
We have tin ton, 24-hour.
Nguyên là các cán bộ hải quan để được thông qua các tờ khai thuế xuất khẩu khống, chiếm đoạt tiền hoàn thuế với tổng số tiền trên 35 tỷ đồng. Hôm qua, Tòa án Nhân dân tỉnh Kiên Giang đã tuyên phạt Mã Diệu Lan 40 tuổi, nguyên là nhân viên bảo vệ trường tiểu học Nguyễn Huệ, xã Em, lập bản tiền lương, kế thực của một nhân viên, sau đó đem ra kho bạc và ngân hàng để chuyển số tiền này thành tài khoản riêng của mình. Trong 6 năm, bị can đã chiếm đoạt số tiền của nhà nước trên 400 triệu đồng.
Atlantic rollers breaking on granite cliffs. It's the stuff of a million picture postcards. But long before tourists came, Cornwall had a harsher economy. Granite is where you find tin, but the rock doesn't give up its treasure without a fight. At Levant, as at many other mines, more often than not, the miners came off worse.
It's called the Levant. It's probably known as Levant. Refers to the Middle East. Saint Just.
October the 20th, 1919. These are the earliest moving images of tin mining. They show the aftermath of the Levant mine disaster, when a lift bringing 100 men to the surface collapsed. 50 years later, John James, You should have been in that lift. Recall his own narrow escape.
Don't step in. Don't step in, boy. Don't come wrong. Give me the quiver, you know, like how it's bent, like
Inquiry decided no one was to blame.
No one was to blame. Number 8.
Jews have been in Iraq, known in those days as Babylonia, from the beginning of the 6th century BC. So it is possible that the Magi were of Jewish extraction, in which case the astronomical evidence would have been compelling. Their traditional symbols would have left no room for doubt in their minds. Jupiter, the royal star, Saturn, the guardian of Israel, and Pisces, the sign of Israel's Messiah. It was enough. They were soon on their way westward, and the nativity itself took place almost certainly in October, not December, in the year 4 BC. William Blake was so impressed with the story of Joseph's flight to Britain that it became the subject of one of his first engravings entitled Joseph of Arimathea Amongst the Rocks of Albion. On the original engraving, Blake wrote, Michelangelo painted it. So the Italian school must have known the story, 16th century. Joseph's adoption of Britain as his final place of work and service is commemorated in some West Country churches. In the parish church at Weston, Bath, Joseph is shown with his followers, some of whom are women, holding his famous staff which is bursting into blossom as he thrusts it into the fertile soil of Somerset. It is believed that cuttings were taken, planted and replanted from the original flowering staff, the little trees being miraculously preserved, and that in this way the original stock has survived throughout the ages. And today,
They call this the Holy Thorn, and they take a little bit to the Queen every year.
And today, in the grounds of the old Benedictine Abbey, the Holy Thorn is still growing. It is a genuine Levantine thorn, Cratagus praecox, and it blossoms twice a year, at Christmas time and May. This little ceremony used to take place when a cutting is taken from the Holy Thorn and presented to the reigning sovereign.
Yes, so the custom had fallen into disuse, but hear what he says here.
But was reinstituted by the command of His Majesty King George V, and now, every year, a sprig of this historic little tree is sent to Her Majesty the Queen as a Christmas decoration, placed usually on Her Majesty's desk. The beautiful story of the young Christ's visit to Britain is depicted in fine needlework on a church banner in Pilton Parish Church near Priddy. Joseph of Arimathea is shown landing from his ship near Glastonbury, and with him is the boy Jesus. There is such a well, called the Chalice Well, at the foot of Glastonbury Tor, which has never run dry within human memory. The well takes its name from the chalice or cup of the Last Supper, which some believe was brought to this country by Joseph, the one priceless possession in memory of that poignant Last Supper. Easy and all that cost so many in the tinfoil hat. It's screaming like a teenager. He puts the
Yes, the man in the tinfoil hat is screaming like a teenage girl.
tinfoil hat. It's screaming like a teenager.
And Miranda Lambert is back again.
By the way, there is the ticket. You don't mind the stars. You give me your honor.
Take mine if you want it.
It's in pieces now.
7. 2, 7. Da-da-da-da-da-da-da. There you go. All right, 1, 2, 7. Da-da-da-da-da-da. Ha! Da-da-da-da-da. I just like to keep all my flavors sealed and tight with a little of foil. Never settle for less. That kind of wrap is just the best. To keep your sandwich nice and fresh. Stick it.
I'm a little piece of tin. Nobody knows where I have been. I've got 4 wheels and I'm running forward. I'm a Fordo, I'm a Ford. Honk, honk, bow, 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 cut, beep, beep, honk, honk, bow, 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 cut, beep, beep, honk, honk. Beep, beep. Beep, beep. Beep, beep. I'm a little hunk of tin. Nobody knows what's in front. I've got 4 wheels and I'm running forward. I'm not a Chevy, I'm a Ford. Honk, honk, bow, bow, crash, crash, beep, beep. Honk, honk, bow, bow, crash, crash, beep, beep. Honk, honk, bow, bow, crash, crash, beep. It gets longer every day.
That I'm even saying that right now. Which is like, how the fuck do you even get agitated about me saying the truth?
Grandma eats it in her sleep. Says it tastes like shredded wheat. Honk, honk, bow, bow, crash, crash,
The
beep.
car's gone. You're no longer tied to this shit. So it's like, how do you justify it and sit there and feel like
Man's Road.
Everything's rotten and came out. The jails are made of tin, and you can walk right out again as soon as you are in. There ain't no short handle shovel, no axes, or pick.
Mama told me watch it, so it ain't no sacrifice. If I lose, that's what happens. You can't go to dog night. I'll stand by my next people.
Look out here is Tinny. I wonder if Tinny becomes a bit of a star somehow. Now these boats are called Tinnies in Australia.
Accessibility in the price of tin was high. Even in the Bronze Age, tin was considered to be assertive. Chloride 2 is the one most valuable to be found. It can also carry out a couple of very beautiful experiments with it. A dissolved in chloride in a 10% sulfuric acid to prevent the hydrolysis of tin chloride in water. Then, I pour the solution into a petri dish and attach the electrodes to the edges of the cup. Now, with the help of the adapter, I'm passing through the solution a constant current of 1 ampere and a voltage of 6 volts. At the same time, begins the process of reduction of tin chloride to beautiful tin crystals as a cathode, and as an anode, tin is oxidized to tin dioxide. Tin crystals.
So there you have it. Very strange properties of tin.